Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Jack,
And I'm Elena.
and we're going to talk about time today.
Yes, how to stop wasting time.
We got some really interesting ideas
Mhm.
from what we've been looking at.
Yes, we do. And these ideas can help you live a better life, a happier life.
So one of the things that really stuck out was, we need to stop focusing so much on other people
Yeah.
and start focusing more on ourselves.
A lot of people, I think, feel like focusing on yourself is a bad thing.
Hmm.
Like it's selfish, but it's really not.
Yeah.
When you focus on yourself, you actually become a better person. You
Uh,
become, stronger, kinder, um, more helpful.
that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like think of a craftsman, someone who works with their hands,
Right.
like a carpenter or a blacksmith.
Mm.
And that craftsman needs to take care of his tools. If his tools are all dull or broken, he can't do his best work.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and we're the craftsmen. Our minds and bodies are our tools.
Hmm.
If we don't take care of ourselves, we can't do our best work in the world.
So how does that tie into, time management?
Well, it's all about understanding the value of time. And time is very precious.
Sure.
It's more valuable than money. It's more valuable than possessions because it's the one thing we can never get back.
Yeah, once it's gone, it's gone.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people, they forget that. And so they waste their time on things that don't matter.
We act like we have an unlimited supply.
Yes. We all have the same amount of time, 24 hours.
Right.
And how we spend that time is up to us.
So what are some of the things that, we should avoid? What are some of the things that are wasting our time?
One of the biggest time wasters is social media.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever noticed how easy it is to get lost in social media?
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, you just, want to check one notification and then suddenly an hour's gone.
Yeah, totally.
And, it can be fun,
Hmm.
but it can also be a huge distraction. And it can really keep us from doing the things that matter.
Right. So how do we break free?
Well, there's a few things you can do. I mean, one is you can set, limits for yourself
Mm-hmm.
on how much time you spend on social media each day.
Mm-hmm.
Turn off your notifications. You can even delete the apps from your phone if you need to.
Oh, wow. That's hardcore. Okay, what else?
Worrying.
Mm-hmm.
Worrying about things that we can't control, worrying about the past, worrying about the future. Worry can really steal our time and our energy.
Yeah, you can literally spend hours worrying about something, and it's not going to change the outcome.
Exactly. And so instead of worrying, what we need to do is focus on what we can control. Focus on the present moment.
Okay, anything else?
Trying to please everyone.
Oh, yeah.
It's impossible to make everyone happy. And if you try to please everyone, you end up pleasing no one, not even yourself.
That's a good point. You can't be everything to everybody.
Exactly. And so we have to, kind of focus on what's important to us and kind of let go of that need to please everybody. And I think the last big time waster is comparing ourselves to others.
That's a hard one. I mean, it's so easy to look at other people and think, oh, like I'm not good enough or I don't have enough or, yeah.
It is. And it's important to remember that everyone's different. We all have our own strengths and weaknesses, our own paths to follow.
So celebrate our own achievements.
Absolutely. Instead of comparing yourself to others, focus on your own progress. Be proud of how far you've come.
Yeah, that's good advice.
It is. And I think if you do that, those things, if you just avoid those things, it can really help you stop wasting time.
Okay, so we've talked about things that we should avoid.
Mm-hmm.
What are some things that we can do to be more productive, to be more efficient?
Well, one of the most powerful things you can do is to develop good habits.
Habits?
Yeah, a habit is something that you do automatically, without thinking about it, like brushing your teeth or making your bed in the morning.
Right, okay.
And good habits can help us be more productive. Like if you have a habit of waking up early, you have more time to get things done during the day.
Okay, that makes sense. But, what about discipline? Don't you need a lot of discipline to make these habits?
Well, you do, but the good news is you don't need to just rely on willpower alone. You can actually design your life in a way that makes it easier to develop good habits.
What do you mean?
Okay, so let's say you want to exercise more.
Mm-hmm.
But you find it hard to motivate yourself to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Okay, so instead of relying on willpower, what you could do is change your environment.
Okay.
So maybe you put your gym clothes out the night before, or you find a workout buddy, Or you sign up for a class at a specific time.
So you're making it easier to actually do it.
Exactly. Yeah, you're making it easier to do the right thing. And that's, you're setting up your environment to support your goals.
I like that.
Yeah, and that applies to, other areas in life. Like if you want to stop wasting time, you can, build habits that help you stay focused and be more productive.
So what are some other habits that will help us stop wasting time?
I think one of the most powerful techniques you can learn for boosting productivity is getting into what's called a flow state.
Flow state was that?
A flow state is basically a mental state where you're completely absorbed in what you're doing. You're so focused that you lose track of time.
Okay, that sounds great, but how do you get there?
So one of the best ways to get into a flow state is to create rituals and triggers that signal to your brain that it's time to focus.
Rituals and triggers.
Yeah, like, for example, there's a successful entrepreneur named Dan Martell,
Okay.
and he has a specific chair in his home that he calls his vision chair.
This vision chair.
His vision chair. And whenever he sits in that chair, it signals to his brain that, okay, it's time to, get creative, think about the future, think big.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it works.
So what are some other types of rituals or triggers?
Well, he also has this ritual where, when he wants to get into a flow state for work, he'll put on his headphones and listen to electronic dance music with no words. And that helps him block out distractions and get into that flow.
So it's all about, creating that right environment to help you focus.
Exactly.
And it sounds like these rituals and triggers can be very personal.
Absolutely.
You have to find what works for you.
Exactly.
Okay, so what else can we do to be more productive?
Well, setting goals is important. It's important to have a clear idea of what we want to achieve in life. Otherwise, we're just kind of drifting.
Yeah, I mean, it's like driving to a destination without a map.
Exactly.
You might get somewhere eventually,
Yeah.
but it's going to take a lot longer.
Exactly.
You're probably going to get lost along the way. Goals give us direction. It gives us something to strive for.
Exactly.
So how do we make sure our goals are effective, that they actually, work?
One technique that I like is thinking of goals as quarterly quests.
Quarterly quests.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that already.
So basically, the idea is to choose one major goal for work and one major goal for your personal life that you want to focus on for the next 3 months.
So instead of having big, huge goals for the entire year, you're breaking it down into these smaller, bite-sized pieces.
Exactly. And I think the word quest adds this kind of sense of adventure to it. So it makes it more fun.
Yeah, it takes the pressure off. It's not about being perfect.
Right.
It's about making progress, going on this journey.
Exactly.
Okay, so we set these goals.
Mm-hmm.
How do we make sure we actually achieve them?
Well, that's the key question, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, there's no point in setting a goal if you don't take action.
Right.
And that's really where discipline and habits come back in.
Okay.
It's about building a life that supports your goals. It's about creating systems and routines that make it easier to do the right things.
So it's not just about willpower.
Right.
It's about kind of designing this environment that sets you up for success.
Exactly.
And you talked about earlier this idea of a vision.
Yeah.
What is a vision exactly?
A vision is basically a clear picture of what you want your life to look like in the future.
Okay.
It's knowing where you're going and why it matters to you.
So it's bigger than just setting these goals.
Exactly.
You're talking about having a sense of purpose.
Exactly.
Okay.
And Dan Martell, who we talked about earlier, recommends this exercise. He calls it creating a 3-year sketch.
3-year sketch.
Yeah, and it's very simple. You just close your eyes and imagine your ideal life 3 years from now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you're just painting this picture in your mind of what your dream life would look like.
Exactly, yeah. Where are you living? What are you doing? Who are you spending your time with? How do you feel?
And you're giving yourself something to strive for.
Exactly. It becomes your guiding star. It helps you make decisions, stay motivated.
It all makes sense. So we've got focus, discipline, habits, goals, vision. What else can we do to stop wasting time and live a better life?
Well, I think, ultimately all this comes down to taking action. We can think and plan and dream all we want, but if we don't take action, nothing's going to change.
Yeah, it's so easy to get stuck in the planning phase.
Yeah.
At some point, you just got to jump in and do it.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be this massive leap.
Right.
We can start with small steps.
So, for example, what's a small step someone could take today?
Let's say your goal is to write a book. You could start by writing for 15 minutes each day.
Or just Brainstorm some ideas.
Exactly.
Or do some research.
Yeah.
Just something.
The key is to just take action.
Yeah.
Even a small action is better than no action.
And I find that, once you start taking action, that kind of creates momentum.
It does, yeah. And then you start seeing results.
Yeah.
And that motivates you to keep going.
Yeah, exactly. So taking action is important, but we've also got to be prepared for change.
That's an important point.
Yeah.
Change is inevitable.
Yeah.
And it can be uncomfortable.
It can be.
We resist change because it's scary.
Yeah.
We like to stay in our comfort zone.
Oh, yeah.
But if we want to grow, if we want to achieve our goals, we have to embrace change.
It's about having a growth mindset.
Exactly.
Being open to new things.
It is. It's about believing that you can learn and grow and become a better version of yourself.
And change doesn't have to be drastic.
No.
It can be gradual.
Exactly. It's about taking small steps in the right direction.
Right. And every step we take gets us closer to our goals.
It does. And as we change and grow, we become more confident. We become more capable.
Right. Which makes it easier to face future challenges.
Exactly. Yeah. And so change is not something to be feared. It's something to be embraced. It's how we learn and grow and evolve.
I agree.
I do too.
Okay. So we've covered a lot of big ideas, focusing on ourselves, setting goals, embracing change.
Yeah.
But what are some practical things? What can we actually do, to stop wasting time? Stuff we can actually start doing today.
Well, one thing you can start doing today is setting boundaries. Boundaries with your time.
What do you mean setting boundaries with our time?
It means like protecting your time. It means saying no to things that aren't important to you.
Yeah, that sounds hard.
It can be, especially if you're, kind of a people pleaser. You want to make everyone happy.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that.
But it's important to remember that your time is valuable. You only have so much of it.
Right.
And you need to use it wisely.
So how do we get better at saying no?
Start small, just start saying no to small requests.
Like what?
Like if a coworker asks you to cover their shift and you don't really want to, just say no.
But what if I feel bad saying no?
You don't have to feel bad. It's okay to say no. It's okay to protect your time.
Yeah, I need to remember that.
You do.
Yeah.
And honestly, the more you practice saying no, the easier it will become.
Okay. I'm going to try that. What else can we do to stop wasting time?
Well, you can prioritize your tasks.
Prioritize. What does that mean?
It means deciding what's most important and doing those things first.
Okay, but how do we know what's most important? Sometimes everything feels important.
Well, there's a tool called the Eisenhower Matrix
Okay.
that can help you.
And how does that work?
You write down all your tasks, all the things you need to do, and then you ask 2 questions about each task.
Okay, what are the questions?
Is it urgent? And is it important?
Okay, so urgent means it has to be done, like, right now.
Yes. And important means it will help you achieve your goals.
Got it. So what do we do with the tasks that are both urgent and important?
You do those first.
Okay, what about the tasks that are important but not urgent?
You can schedule those for later.
Okay, and what about the urgent but not important tasks?
You can delegate those. Ask someone else to do them.
Okay, what about the things that are neither urgent nor important?
Eliminate those. Don't do them at all.
So the Eisenhower Matrix sounds pretty helpful.
It is. It can really help you stop wasting time on, things that don't matter.
So what's another practical tip to, save time?
Learn to delegate.
Delegate. What does that mean?
It means asking someone else to do something for you.
Okay, but what if I can do it better myself?
You might be able to, but that doesn't mean you should.
Oh, okay, why not?
Because your time is valuable, and you should be focusing on the things that only you can do.
The most important things.
Yes, exactly. The things that will help you achieve your goals.
So what kind of things can I delegate? I'm just trying to give practical examples.
Like scheduling appointments,
Okay.
making phone calls, responding to emails, things like that.
Okay, that makes sense. But how do I find people to delegate to?
You can hire an assistant, or you can ask, a friend or family member to help you out.
That's a good idea. What else can we do?
Manage your energy.
Oh, right. We talked about that earlier.
We did. But it's so important, and I want to say it again.
Okay. I'm listening.
Your energy levels fluctuate throughout the day.
Fluctuate.
It means they go up and down.
Okay.
Sometimes you have lots of energy, sometimes you have very little.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's important to be aware of that, because when you have lots of energy, you can get more done.
Right.
So you want to try to schedule your most important tasks for those times of day when you have the most energy.
Okay, that makes sense. But what if I can't control my schedule?
Well, you can't always control your schedule, but you can control how you take care of yourself.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Things like getting enough sleep,
Mm-hmm.
eating healthy foods, exercising regularly, things like that.
Yeah, those are all important.
They are, because if you take care of yourself, you'll have more energy.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've talked about a lot of different things, setting boundaries, prioritizing tasks, delegating, managing our energy.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like a lot of work.
It's not as much work as you think. You don't have to do everything at once. Just start with one thing,
Okay,
and then you can add another and another.
that's good advice. Any final thoughts as we kind of wrap things up here?
Just this. Time is precious. Don't waste it. Use it wisely and use it to do the things that matter most to you.
Well, thank you for all this. This has been really helpful. I think people are going to get a lot out of this.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure.
Awesome. And thank you all for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.